And instruction call, but she makes that one good. St. Vincent sent to pass with Rufan Williams. Fredericks is there, over to Rufan, into the pocket she goes. Can she find Davis? A lot of resetting here in this game. Not finding the shooters.
Forced there to send that ball back into the center third because of good defense by the Canadians.
Yes. Fredericks go shooter for St. Vincent. And
But Dennis, I'm not understanding the hurry of the Canadian team. There's no need for them to be hurried, to be on a hurry. Their purpose should be to score on their center pass and to get any of the Vincentian center pass that they can. But they're hurrying and they're losing the ball in that hurry.
They're taking low percentage shots. You need to score. You try to get as close as possible to the bucket and score instead of shooting those high percent shots. Straight to get and score a low percent shot. But St. Vincent, a lot of patience. And that's give and go and out to the hands of Davis.
Yes, but that's just demonstrative of what I just said. Both teams are on the hustle. I am not understanding why, because they need to settle. They have not settled.
Yes.
Neither of the two teams have settled.
Yeah, because a lot of turnovers in this quarter so far. Gone again and footwork call. Hustling there by Grenadine. Footwork call by umpire. Steal there by the wing defense. It's Tom. But the ball with Sarah Binns. She converts and bring it with N1. Canada 3, St. Vincent and Grenadines 4. Good overhead pass there to Davis. Francis can only retrieve it. Davis free, not being marked. And Fredericks. Good rotation there by the Canada team and decide to reset.
Good intention, wrong pass.
Yes. Still Canada's ball. And Bin scores. St. Vincent and the Grenadines center pass. Francis will take this one now. She does. Add to the count. 7 to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 4 to Canada. Canada center pass. Good change ball there by Binns that she loses it to Rufman Williams. And Canada and St. Vincent the Grenadines breaks away. Good drive to the top of the circle there by Williams. And good shot there by Fredericks. Good drop pass. Frederick scores again. 9 to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. 4 to Canada, and Canada on the attack again. This game is getting away from Canada. They must score. Bubbles out. Contact call on center. It's cold, but Fredericks converts. 4 minutes, 7 seconds left on the clock. St. Vincent still on the attack. Finds Fredericks. Could give a goal there between Fredericks and the St. Williams. Ben scores.
I think the Vincent center is walking back to take the center pass now, as opposed to running back, which he was doing in the first half of this first quarter.
So Canada on the attack. 12 to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 5 to Canada. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines pulling away. And Canada, stepping past the bins. And she hits.
That's an improvisation there, because she needed to get it to somebody, and she did it quite well in the end.
Yes. Once you're in the airfield, you can't land. You got to let it go. Good steal there, Francis. Francis on Francis. Oh, this time around, she went for the drop pass and set up the shot. And he threw it out of bounds. So, St. Vincent and Grenadines will start the attack.
Good communication is required to bring off that type of interaction that they were just trying for.
That's next there by Bins.
Just under a minute to go now. St. Vincent Grenadines can add to the count. Francis Scott has it. And she converts. And her opponent, Francis, can only retrieve that one. And Canada breaks away. Couple seconds on the clock. Will she score?
Maybe her last attack. Maybe the kind of last attack. And Serbins has it. Oh, pops it. Makes it good. Fredericks collect that one on the free under the post. Converts. And Canada will attack again. That's the end of the first quarter. Canada 8, St. Vincent and the Grenadines 14. And St. Vincent and Grenadines actually pulled away very early in this quarter from Canada. Canada continues to have a number of turnovers in this quarter.
14 to St. Vincent and the
Well, we'll be back
Grenadines.
with you in about 3 minutes' time for the start of the second quarter.
Gives us a little time to this is like the Barbados tourism.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines center pass. And that's Ruth Ann Williams. Played netball also in Barbados for the University of the West Indies. So we start back with St. Vincent and the Grenadines center pass.
Okay. Good evening, viewers. This is Cameron Greenwich here. For those persons who are aware of netball within the region, looking on court, you'll see St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Skiddy Francis Crick, goal attack. Skiddy is a stalwart in netball in St. Vincent. She's a many-time national player. She has represented Maple for approximately 30 plus years. So that in itself is some measure of accomplishment or achievement to, or a testament to the Maple Club from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As we spoke of, Skiddy, penalty to her. Some information on the Canadian team. The Canadian National Championships is held in 4 different provinces: Quebec or Montreal, Ontario, British Columbia, and Alberta. And that is held Queen Victoria weekend, which is May 22nd to 24th of every year. And from that competition, players are selected for their trials. And once selected, there is a weekend of intense training, which is held in British Columbia itself. And persons luckily enough to be selected is chosen for the Canadian team. Goal shooter for Canada is Alyssa Binns. Good shooting by Skiddy. Skiddy is also a former West Indies player, and she has represented St. Vincent from the under-23, St. Vincent and the Grenadines from the under-23 level right up to the West Indies, where she played goal shooter when the West Indies team was hosted by the Caribbean Netball Association.
Some stats here for you. In the first quarter, Alyssa Binns scored 2 from her 3 attempts. Sarah Binns 6 from her 7 attempts. And Miriam Fredericks scored 10 from her 12 attempts. While Craig Francis scored 4 from her 5 attempts. So very outstanding for Craig and Samuels and Fredericks. And that's the stats for first quarter.
Another note of the Canadian team is that I think the majority of their players represent British Columbia, with Alberta's fielded the second highest. The coach and manager, they're also from, I think the coach is from British Columbia. The manager, I think she's from Alberta, but the assistant coach, Joan Aline, who almost certain has Barbadian background, she is from Ontario. So Miss Aline is responsible for all those players within the province of Ontario, lucky enough to have been chosen to represent Canada. She is the person responsible for making sure that they stick to whatever program is given at the time they're given, and then before they travel, they meet up with the coach and the manager in British Columbia, and then they fly to wherever in the world that they're going. 17 to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 11 to Canada in the second quarter.
Yeah. Could see
Forward goal.
Vincent and Grenadines didn't make any changes at the quarter. While Canada moved Alyssa Binns to goal defense, Shani Jaden to goal shooter, and Leanne Wong goes to wing attack. So 3 changes in the Canadian camp as they continue to trail 12 goals to 17, and some spills all the time. That is Sarah Binns that goes down. And seems to be okay. And can she add to the count?
a little history for you. Where netball is concerned, the guy who would have founded netball, if my information is correct, I think he's also Canadian.
Canadian.
Yeah, Naismith is the name. So you would think that the program in that country should be a little higher than it is.
Yes. That's where it originated, and we believe that it will continue within that system. And what the main sport being played in Canada for ladies? Is it netball?
For ladies, I'm not sure it is, but the most popular sport in Canada overall is lacrosse.
Right.
People have a thinking that it is a baseball, but it is lacrosse.
I was getting very similar to netball, passing the ball, a smaller ball.
It is more in line with hockey, but there's this long sort of stick with a net at the end.
Okay.
So imagine running and hooking the ball, if you will, contact on the wing attack from Canada. I think they're now trying to get more into women's good catch by Skiddy out the court. They're now trying to get more into female soccer. I got to remember to differentiate between football and soccer.
Football and soccer, yes. When you say Canadian soccer, you're speaking actually about Belgian football.
About
That's
Belgium,
correct.
yes. Football to them is the one with the pads and the helmets and those
Correct.
big, hard uniforms.
Right, what the Americans would call American football.
What Americans call
fully
American
padded up.
football, yes. It is ironic here in this game too that, and this is more information, many years ago when people from the islands, as we refer to them, were going to Canada, they had to go through the province of Quebec. And ironically, the majority of them were Vincentians. So look here on court, Canada versus St. Vincent and the
Vincent.
Grenadines. That's almost irony.
Yes.
Skiddy Francis Craig just missed a sitter.
Still as athletic and energetic as I was saying, you understand it's almost 30-something years she was into the game of netball.
She has, she's been playing in 2006, she would have been 30 years that she was with one club. So 2 years later is 32. And I think she would have represented that club from the time she was a little girl. So she probably has 30-something plus years
Okay.
in the game itself.
She's here representing her country, StVincent and the Grenadines.
Yes.
And
You know, sometimes when the country calls, you come out of retirement, because I think she would have retired twice.
wow.
So National Judy called and she came back.
Once Judy calls, try to get as fit as possible. She had the skill and talent, and
Use it wisely.
use it with
Good defense there by the goal defense from
Lewis deflected that
St.
one
Vincent
away.
and the Grenadines, yes. There's also a player in the St. Vincent and the Grenadines team. I think her name is Nicole Sandy. She's a former national player who would have retired and came out of retirement. And she's also a former St. Vincent and the Grenadines coach as well.
Well, I hope that we can see her on court this evening. She's on the bench.
She's on the bench. Here in this game, though, I think to Canada's credit, they're playing a very fast passing game. At times, it's a bit erratic, though.
Yeah, not really a control game, though, because they're
Yes.
losing a lot of balls.
There's a lot of body-on-body contact, too.
I think they scored a lot of contests and they scored for the ball. It looks like kind of separate their defense. And it's showing the
but
score.
They have steps at the defense, but then the attack has fallen apart.
Yes.
Penalty for the goal shooter.
You need to be a little more patient and get this
Yes.
ball into the circle.
I think, as the coach would say, you got to be a little more control with what you're doing.
Let's see, they're on the attack now. Let's see if they can get this ball into the circle to either Grenadine or Bins.
Canada's goal shooter was very solid as wing attack in their game last night against Grenada. So I'm a bit surprised to see her in the shooting circle.
She would have started a number of earlier games.
As goal shooter.
Grenadine, yeah,
Yes.
goal shooter. But I understand that Bins came into the game, to the island late, and it looks like Bins now going to goal
Goal
defense.
defense.
So, a lot of versatility in the team, moving from one circle to the next circle.
And Bins, as you spoke, she got here yesterday and she was trying enough to play last night too.
Sarah Bins now convert again, bring the game in 4.
And we're talking to the goal defense from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Well, good shooting by the goal shooter from St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
That's Francis, I think it is.
Frederick, Miriam Frederick.
Fredericks, yeah. Fredericks.
There's too many true ball though. There's not any contact call on the goal shooter. What do you think? What do you think happened there?
Yeah, I wonder. I saw her in front of the player, so I don't know if she pushed off before she moved. Right.
Some
Red
mix
call
up.
contact on her.
Yes.
Good drop pass there to Bins. There's under 3 minutes left in this quarter.
I'll tell you something. The Canadian national championships, it is so hectic. It is a 3-day competition. The structure is 3 days of intense competition.
3 days.
3 days.
And
You have an under 18, you have an under 23, and you have an open divisions. And usually the 4 provinces who play, they would have a representative team from those.
each one.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, depending on where the competition is, because it can be a very expensive journey.
And this is an annual competition.
It is-
Mainly
it
in
is.
what month?
May,
In May.
what they call Queen Victoria Weekend,
Okay.
May 22nd to 24th.
Yes. And this is strictly Canadian teams.
Yes.
No,
But they used to, when the national team would have been selected, they used to invite other countries to compete against their national team the last day of
Of the competition.
the competition. Well, the Monday of which will be a public holiday
Okay.
of the competition. I remember Singapore came down one day, and 1 year, and then the following year there was a team from, I think, Wales.
That can only help with the general development of
Of
netball in
netball,
Canada.
yeah, because you're going to play against clubs that are stronger than you and probably
Yes.
higher ranked than you are.
See a lot of improvement in Canada. The last qualifier that was held in Canada.
In Calgary, yeah.
Yes.
This team is playing a lot better. I think they're more advanced and they'll start together. Some of them would have played at World Under 23 as well.
Yes.
So they have that going with them. Ball over the court by center from St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
It's all about getting the players to gel together and play together and learn one another. And Canada look like a team that is actually gelling as they play game by game. Good fit there by giving attack.
Yes. So the structure of the competition, as I was saying, that you start on Friday. So everybody plays on Friday. And it's a round robin. Then you have the top two who play for to go through.
That's the end of the second quarter. 22 to Canada, 26 to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I'm still with Cameron. Let Cameron continue his talk on Canada and the competitions as we await the third quarter.
So going forward about the Canadian Nationals, in 2005, I was fortunate to be given the opportunity to coach the province of Montreal, Quebec, their under-23 team to the Canadian National Championships, which were held in Ontario. And it was a learning experience. It was, as I said, it was very, very hectic. You had to play from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whether you won or lost. You had to play.
And there's how much games a day?
So sometimes a team can play twice a day, and it's an entire hour. So whether you were up to it or not, mentally you had to be prepared for this.
Yes.
And it was different for me because it was something that I wasn't accustomed to or that I didn't look forward to. And having to travel from Ontario to Montreal and then drive back or be driven back because the players could not come over, so I had to go to them.
Right.
And we had, fortunately for us, the president of Quebec Netball Association. She knows the sport, and so she was able to use her contacts to get things done. We were third or the fourth, so that was the first time that Quebec had placed any higher than fourth.
I came to do a 2-day umpiring conference
in the Canadian Nationals. So again, at the end of the second quarter, which is halftime of this game between Canada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Vincent and the Grenadines 26, Canada 22.
I believe you. Okay, let's hear it again for, 11 years. You took a lot of abuse, did you?
No, never. No, honestly. People were lovely. Women players are wonderful.
I'll take your word for that. You played as well in your time, internationally?
I didn't play internationally. I wasn't good enough. I played for my county. I played centre because I'm not very tall, but I was far better at umpiring.
Well, you got to know exactly where your strengths lie.
Yeah, and I went into administration, so I'm on the Netball Europe board. So we had our Netball Europe Championships about 3 months ago, and I helped organise them. So this is an interesting event for me.
What has made it so interesting for you?
Seeing the quality of the players. It's a different style of play from Europe. We've got 11 different countries in Europe, but very different style to the Caribbean style. I've been very impressed with some of the teams here.
What is the primary difference in style, as you see it, between, let's say, Europe and the Caribbean? We're known for speed in the Caribbean. What are the Europeans known for?
I think the Europeans are known for their technical ability and sticking to their plan. The Caribbean style is far more athletic. It's exciting. And I think the hardest match I ever umpired was a West Indies match, where I didn't know where they were going next. I couldn't read the play. I wasn't used to it. I didn't know where the ball had gone. They were so tall. So it's a very different style.
How much has the game changed, let's say, in the last 10, 20 years in terms of amending rules and so on to make it more spectator friendly?
The board of the International Federation wants a sport that's modern, exciting, interests the spectators, and they want us to try and reduce the whistle. So that's why we don't have a whistle for a goal anymore. There's too much whistle. There's still too much whistle. And it's not the umpires, it's the rules. So we need to change that. And we need to make it more appealing for television. So it's faster. I think the athletes are stronger. I think it's a more physical game. And I think it's more challenging.
As the chair of the INF Rules Committee, do you get input from players? Are there players on that committee as well that can give you feedback on how they feel about certain things?
We've just reappointed the whole of the panel, and on there we have 2 international umpires, plus myself, and we have an international coach from New Zealand. It was open invitation to apply. Players didn't apply. It tends to be coaches that are interested in rules. So the coaching input is really important.
Okay, when are you sure you're coming back again next week?
I'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah, Martin, he has an apartment he will rent for free.
Well done, I'll be there.
Well done, Martin. And you'll be hearing Martin sometime later in the course of the evening. Thank you very much, Cheryl. Let's hear it for Cheryl Danson. we get ready for the third quarter, St. Vincent and the Grenadines leading
welcome back
26-22.
to the Sagari Super Gymnasium. It's halftime. Canada versus St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A number of changes in the St. Vincent and Grenadines camp. Canada takes the first center pass of the third quarter. Changes St. Vincent and Grenadines. Vashel Adams goes to goal defense. Charles goes to goalkeeper. Davis goal attack. James wing defense. Fredericks remain at goal shooter. Samuels center. And Sandy Stevens wing attack. Ball with St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And Fredericks is still there. Have a new wing, a new goal attack in Davis. And Davis collects that one right under the ring, balancing on the byline, and she makes it good. Canada on the top with Grenadine, and Benz is there. Cow is also there. Good rotation there. Tapped away by the goalkeeper, and you have Lewis breaking away a long pass. Collision between the two St. Vincent and Grenadines players, and the ball goes back with Canada.
Good deflection by the goalkeeper from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Well, that is one of those infringements that coaches cringe at, stepping onto the court by the Canadian goal attack. Good steal there by the goal wing defense from Canada. As we watch in anticipation what is happening on court, we have some sort of interesting statistics, percentage-wise, which you will be given immediately.
You have the second quarter stats, shooting stats. And Elisa Binns scored 2 of her 3 attempts. Sarah Binns, and that was 66%. We have Sarah Binns scores 16 from her 21 attempts, giving her a 76 percentage. And Grenadine came in the second quarter, and she scored 4 from her 7 attempts, giving her 57%. For St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we had Fredericks scored 10 from 10 in the first quarter and came back and scored 20 from 22 attempts, giving her a 90% shooting average. In the first quarter, Craig Francis scored 2 from 3, and in the second quarter, she scored 6 from 8, giving her a 75% shooting average.
A minor correction on what was just reported. Binns scored 10 from 14 in the second quarter. Grenadine had 4 from 7. Frederick 10 from 10, which is 100%. And Francis Crick had 2 from 2, which is another 100% for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. At the end of the 2 quarters combined, or at halftime, A. Binns from Canada, she has 2 from 3, which is still the 66% average that she came into the second quarter with. S. Binns from Canada, she had 16 from 21, 76%. And Grenadine 4 from 7, 57%. Frederick from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 20 from 22 at 90%. And Francis Crick, 6 from 8 at 75%.
And that's good shooting there by Fredericks, 90% average in the 2 quarters.
And we expect, though, that the Canadian shooters will have to elevate their, at least attempts at goal, because you're not going to win or be competitive if all you do is just pass around the ball outside of the shooting area. There's only one designated area on court for shooters, and that's within the goal circle. And a goal attack, scoring 7 goals or having 7 attempts, scoring 7 goals, 20 attempts, scoring 8 goals doesn't augur well for success at all.
Canada pulls away by 2 in this quarter already. 27. That makes it 3. And loud cheers came from the Canada fans.
At the end of the half, though, it was 30-26 to whom? Because this is startling. 22 and 8 is 30.
5. That's 5. 1. 6. I would have scored 5.
So Canada would have scored 5 goals compared to St. Vincent and the Grenadines 2. This game is going to go down to the wire.
Yes. And I saw the urgency, intensity from Canada late in the second quarter. No doubt that
But
they're leading.
Canada has never beaten St. Vincent and the Grenadines at senior level. So if they were to hold on for this would be what should be considered some measure of upset.
Yeah. We'll see if it's history in the making. But Canada playing a lot defensive now, a lot of defense, and they're actually attacking. Well,
it is very, very difficult to mark 2 moving shooters. And that is what Canada has to their credit, whereas St. Vincent is banking on that lofty pass into the goal shooter. And their attack is allowing the Canadian defense to see the ball coming. There the ball goes again. And they're allowing the Canadian defense to see the ball, and Canada is able to challenge the ball as it comes into the goal shooter. I think what the girls from St. Vincent and the Grenadines need to do is they need to work the ball a little closer to the shooting circle. And then there goes the commentator's chorus. And then distribute into the shooting circle.
Good steal there by Canada. Canada contesting every pass.
Every ball, yeah. I think that is the momentum that they have going for them at the moment. I see St. Vincent and the Grenadines has a new goal attack. Shalissa Davis.
Yeah, Davis.
Miscommunication between the goalkeeper and the goal defense from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. with under 5 minutes 30 to go in the third quarter, Canada has a 3-goal advantage on St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Canada.
I don't think St. Vincent is marking as resistant as before. They're just concentrating now on good deflection by the goal defense from St. Vincent.
That's Lewis. Adams, that's Adams from St. Vincent with that deflection.
St. Vincent's going to have to go back to their bread and butter. Pass and move.
Seem not to be finding that goal attack. They're looking to get the ball into Fredericks. And the goal attack is moving.
But the goalkeeper from Canada seems to be forcing the goal shooter into moving a little too much now. So they're not going to be able to see her to distribute the ball to her as they like. Contact on the goal defense from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You know, and that could be one of those cases where now the defenses are getting frustrated.
Sabins missed an easy one, an easy free. Got to capitalize. France is trying her best to contain Fredericks.
Yeah. I think too that should St. Vincent and the Grenadines put the nose in front, the tempo of the game is going to change again. At this point in time, it's all about Canada. Good footwork. Good defense by the goalkeeper. Scores are locked. So St. Vincent would have scored 3 consecutive goals.
Yes, before Canada could score. And they're building very nice, patience. Got to get this ball inside. 3 seconds.
How ball there by the wing attack from Canada. I think she couldn't find anyone to pass the ball to, and no one helped her. Good touch pass, goal attack. There's a similarity between the way St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the plays compared to the way Grenada plays.
Yes.
There's that OCS style of netball. There's some perspiration on court, which could be dangerous to the
players. Can you match the
players.
style with Trinidad and Tobago and Barbados? It's
No.
the same style.
No. There is a difference in how Trinidad plays and how Barbados plays. Trinidad is very aggressive. We're very laid back.
Right.
Trinidad will force something to happen. We're going to wait for something to happen.
Okay. Being active and being proactive.
Yes.
Yeah, make it happen.
So for it to be even keeled, yeah, we got to make things happen too. So St. Vincent and the Grenadines has put the nose ahead, as I said earlier, and so they have the rhythm in the game. And if we remember, Canada was very competitive against Grenada last night as well.
Yes.
Just going down by 9 goals, 50.
9 goals, yeah.
Was
9
it 58 to 49?
Yes, 58-49.
58 to 49. Goal shooter misses a sitter. So that's 3 straight goals that Canada has missed from a very, very easy distance.
Yes, you can't be missing at this time. Got to score. Less under 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
St. Vincent and Grenadines scores again.
Goal attack from the St. Vincent Grenadines. She now comes to the party, so you'll see.
Yeah, they're giving away some easy penalties now.
Goal defense for Canada is very late into the circle and marking the goal attack. She's free last 3 shots that she made. She was open.
It is difficult though to. It is difficult to move from attack into defense. And remember last night she would have played goal shooter, goal attack in the Grenada game, and now she's having to play goal defense.
Have to move, yeah.
Obstruction, goal defense. And look at the body structure of the St. Vincent goal attack and see there is this sprinter's like approach to her game on the whistle at the end of the third quarter. St. Vincent and the Grenadines 38, Canada 34. So when was the last time Canada would have scored a goal?
Almost for 5 minutes on the
clock. Yes.
Because they took the lead.
They went up by like 3 goals, and they have not scored in like 5 minutes.
Yes. And St. Vincent Grenadines will come and score at least 4 or 5 goals.
At least 5 goals.
Yeah.
So they've taken the advantage and the upper hand away from Canada.
On the other hand, Canada missed almost 4 or 5 goals on the stretch. So
the easiest goal.
They got to convert if you want to keep in contention.
Well, I wonder what the coach is saying. The coach from Canada, though, she has been around forever. Almost 20-something years at that level. Yeah. I remember when I first saw the Canadian national team, she was the coach. Okay. And the same thing for the manager. So I think what they do, though, they change assistants, but they maintain the head coach and the manager. Yeah.
Well, I wish them luck.
But Canada has had some international success. They were third at a Five Nations tournament in Singapore sometime in the early 2000s. And on that team was former Jamaican standout Tiffany Wolf. Okay. She represented Jamaica at the 2003 Worlds, which was in Kingston. And then you also had on that team a former St. Vincent and the Grenadines player. Her name was Sherilyn Nicky. So Canada has had, they know how to get it done. It is almost unfortunate, though, that it's taken a little while to get back to that level.
Well, they got to continue to set their goals and try to achieve them in developing a squad that can be competitive at this level. I'm not saying they're not competitive at this level, but that could actually take on the likes of Barbados and Trinidad and Grenada and at least qualify for a tournament. And we've got to start by increasing their rankings.
Yes.
Playing more trade series and having more competitions and things like that.
But do you know that there is a tournament held in Bermuda? It's called the America's Cup. Canada, the USA, and Bermuda.
Bermuda, okay.
Yes. And this year, the Canadian, a couple months ago, I think late July to early August, the Canadian under 23 team, they played in the Bermuda Invitational. Right. And they were third. It was Bermuda, the USA, Canada, and there was one other country which doesn't come to mind, but they were third there. They were third there as well. So I think the Netball Canada has injected some money into the program that they have going. Okay. And so they're getting to go to competition.
Yeah, you always need that finance to get the girls out to competition, to the highest competition, and they can only develop. But the more netball you play at that high level, And the better for the
better
teams
it
and the
will
young
be.
ladies
Yes.
to improve.
The teams are returning to court. It's the Vincent and the Grenadines center pass. Let's see what's going to happen from here. There's still some measure of moisture on the court, which could be dangerous to the players. The umpires are calling for something to be done.
Yeah, don't take the the young lady that's supposed to mop the court. She got to move with some urgency because they have to start back on time.
Yes. When we look at the umpires, we see Joe Young from Trinidad on the far side. I think he is either an ITID or an IUA. I think he's an ITID, and
That's
Lilia.
the highest level?
No, the highest level is an IUA.
UA.
Yeah. And this umpire, the female umpire, she was the last umpire, or she umpired the last Fast Five finals. So, some stats for
That's in
the
Australia.
in Australia, Fast Five,
yeah.
yes. Where England defeated Jamaica. Statistics for the third quarter. S-Bin, 7 from 11. And Grenadine from Canada, 5 from 6. Overall, Baines has 23 from 32, and Baines has 9 from 13. Frederick, 7 from 10, and Davis, wow, a perfect 5 from 5.
She came into the third quarter and have 100%.
So I think that contribution and those 5 goals are the 5 goals that allowed St. Vincent and the Grenadines to go up by the score in which they did.
Yeah.
Good communication between the goal attacker and the goal shooter. That shooter-to-shooter pass will always beat defenses.
Yeah.
More often than not, we rely on the distribution from outside the circle. But once you can get 2 shooters who are confident in passing the ball to
Yes.
themselves, things are going to.
Rightfully so. That fake drop pass normally beats a lot of defense.
Yes.
Uh,
That's intentional.
I think Fraser should be warned for. She's being cautioned.
Yes, that was an intentional contact, which could have
Yeah.
been harmful to the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
It was also unnecessary.
Yes. All right. It's all right.
So Fredericks now has 27 from 32, and Davis 5 from 5. Canada would have scored 34 from 48. St. Vincent and the Grenadines 38 from 45. I'm impressed though with the ball movement of Team Canada. Because I think a lot of them are under 23 players.
Well, that's what you got to build your national team on, and youngsters, feed some young players with your experienced senior players.
I know for sure, that's intentional. I know for sure the goal attack from Team Canada, Benz, when I coached there, she was in the under 18 program.
Yes.
I think she was probably about 11, between 9 and 11. So she has been there for a little while.
Yeah. Bim's very hardworking, very good shooter.
They have a program too that is developed after the Australian style of play. I know that former Australian coach Jill McIntosh, you would always find that she was in British Columbia conducting some clinic. So they have adjusted and adopted the style similar to the Australian player. So when you look at the shooting action of the goal shooters, more so the goal shooters than the goal attack, you will find that is almost how the Australians will play.
Yes. And McIntosh was here for 2 days, also doing some coaching in Barbados with the APNA coaches. And it's always a plus in the development not only of players but also of coaches. And we need to have some coaching programs in the Caribbean.
We need that. I understood too that former New Zealand goal shooter, Irene Van Dijk, was also down here.
Yeah, she was here, yeah.
So we've been fortunate enough to have from Australia and New Zealand,
Yes.
well, South Africa to an extent, because Van Dijk is South African.
Yes, all right. Rightfully so.
So we would have had from the 3 of the top 6. Good move in there by the goal attack. In the circle, though, Team Canada seems to be rushing the ball now, and they're not as patient as they were when the game first started.
Well, if Canada want to win this one, they got to get back in the game now. It's only 10 minutes on the clock.
And they're down 8.
Yes.
There is that ball from the St. Vincent wing attack. Good defense by the goal defense.
Contact call on Bims. Umpire urging to come in alignment with the goal attack.
St. Vincent is forcing Canada to play the ball back into their defense before they bring it forward.
Rotation there.
Yes.
Got to see if Bims will convert. Sharps again back.
Good rebound by Bims.
Her rebound. Good steal there. Can she save it? Canada on the attack again.
I think there is no defensive pressure by St. Vincent in the midcourt. The ball is flowing from attacking third or defensive third into Canada's attacking third, and it's not even being deflected.
Yes.
It is too easy. Contact on the goalkeeper from St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Two unanswered. It's two unanswered goals there by Canada. St. Vincent will have to convert if they want to.
When you see the final score line of some of these games, even though they may be blowouts, or you may think that the stronger team would have won or should have won, you have to be here to see that there's some measure of intensity at points in time. There's no just sit down and let it happen.
Yeah.
The teams have to fight.
Yeah, majority teams never give up. They continue to fight. Although the team may be way better than they
Yes.
continue to fight to the end. And maybe they also have goals to achieve, keeping the scoreline limited. I believe that the weaker teams will still got some form of scoreline
Yes.
they want to achieve.
I think, and that too is true. I remember in 2012, as coach of the Barbados Workers Union team, we toured Trinidad and Tobago, and we played in their all sectors netball league, where a lot of the current Trinidad and Tobago players compete. And yeah, we knew that we were going to be outplayed. So it was about setting realistic goals, as you just said. And mine was limit them to under 60 and try to score at least 25.
Yeah.
So we did that. And to me, that was a moral victory.
Yes.
What I do know, and it's good that you raised that point, is as far as Canada is concerned, they're not going to back down and play dead. I think
Yes.
the coach sees everything as within grasp, and you gotta go for it.
Yes.
And it's about fighting for what you want and contact. That was a tough call.
Thought that was contact there.
I thought so too. As they would say in the netball stadium, it was never theirs. So I'm saying that the coach of Canada, Rosemary Willock, she thinks that they will win every game that they play. I know the assistant coach in conversation with her is about realistic goals.
Yes, this got to be all the time. Always a what you call a win-win situation.
The goal shooter from Trinidad has St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So she has this nice, quick shot. She doesn't give the good deflection. She doesn't give the defenses any chance to get in line to pick up their 3 feet. As soon as she catches the ball, she looks for that quick release.
But what I'm saying is she gets majority of her shots from under the pole. And I'm wondering if it's easy to defend a player who look for the low percent shots on the ring instead of pulling out for those high percent shots.
But her bread and butter is then that less than 3 feet away from the goal post. Defenses then would have to try to move her out of her comfort zone. Yeah. But her shot, that quick release I'm speaking about is almost like Jamaica's Janelle Fowler. It is, and then there's another young one from Jamaica who also plays in the Australian Suncorp Super League. Would have played at the last World Under-21, and it is like watch the shot again. She doesn't wait at all.
She turns and release.
Yeah.
Good front shot. Trying to throw away another center pass. 4 on the clock, and they're down by 7.
St. Vincent is going to score what? 3 straight?
Yes. Brings up the 50 for St. Vincent.
Winning is a habit. So, and St. Vincent doesn't want to be loser or losing too many. 4 straight.
Goal attack. Hits that one from Rio.
That is a no-no. Does it pass the ball across the goal circle?
Right. Well.
5 straight. Canada has to try to get back into the game, and if they're going to lose, let it be in single digits.
Correct.
Last night they came back in the last quarter and they made something of it against Grenada. Let's see if they can do that again tonight.
Not attacking bad, but they're giving the ball at crucial times in the game.
There's that miscommunication between the shooters. The goal defense wants to finally.
Being scored after the count.
There's a little bit of muddle in between the attacking players around. Ooh.
Oh.
There's a back breaker.
top three. Goalkeeper didn't jump there.
No, she
Surprised her
didn't.
just now. Tapped it off her hands.
So Canada has scored 2 straight. Canada's turn, so St. Vincent has just missed a sitter, which gives Canada the chance to score 1 more. They're no going at it.
Cross court pass, deflected out.
I'm sure the coach didn't tell her to do that one.
Maybe footy stepping in and players losing focus.
Under 40 minutes to go, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines have scored 53. Canada set a pass. Let's see if they can add 1 more. Obstruction call.
Maybe last attack here in the game. St. Vincent.
So are we gonna we're gonna get almost identical score lines to last night.
Yes.
But by the same 9 goals. And there you have it.
45-43 last night. We have 45-53. Time gone. And Canada losing to St. Vincent and the Grenadines 53 goals to 44 goals here. And we look forward to
game 20?
Yes.
Game 20 at 6 o'clock?
Yeah. Grenada
Between
versus
Grenada and St. Martin.
St. Martin's.
So it was a pleasure being here with you, Mr.
Thank you very much,
Gallagher.
Cameron.
Signing out.
Signing out.